Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another fantastic episode of Stories Around Azeroth. As always, I am Pete Titans Nevercoat, joined by the biggest pile of cog paste this side of Mechagon, one Mr. Frazley-tastic. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very offended that you would say that.
Indeed.
No, I'm doing great. That was a... So, for
That's
anybody
a mention
wondering...
to Mr. Frazley's streams. You should go and watch those sometime.
Yes, we found out that cog paste could be an insult that the Mechanomes used on the schoolyard.
Indeed. Though that damn mecha schoolyard.
Yes. Oh, it was definitely one where a lot of gears were grinded.
Indeed.
And stuff like that.
Gears were grinded.
And there were gears of war.
Cog paste was melted.
There
was a gear of war. King Mechagon ruled upon his roost.
Hey everybody, I'm King Mechagon and I'm gonna take you out. I'm King Mechagon.
Welcome to Stories Around Azeroth, where we talk Warcraft for about an hour. I hope you are all fine. Those of you joining us live over on Twitch, and to those of you who catch the VOD / the actual podcast recording that goes live.
Yes.
Feel free to join.
Or those in the future. If you're in the future and you so let us know. Comment on this episode and say what year you're listening to this. Be like, hey, I'm in the future listening to this episode that was in the past and stuff like that.
That's it, isn't it? I'm listening in the past. I'm listening in the future. I'll tell you what was interesting since we're talking about past and future. I've been rattling on for ages about the Infinite Dragonflight, and I've seen on Reddit some people popping up every now and going, it would be really cool if the Infinite Dragonflight came back and were the whole reason for an expansion. And I was like, yes. I don't know if you listened to me ramble on about this incoherent idea, but yes, people agree. It's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, who doesn't want more Rathion?
I mean, we're getting a lot of it in the next patch. Whee! But yes, Mr. Frazley, you've had an exciting week in the game this week. What have you been up to?
Quite a few different things. I was in current WoW. Fraz's heart is now up to 64, so I'm getting close to that next storyline.
Yep, which is good. 65 is the good one.
And then you said 70 was the meh one?
70, there's not really a lot to it, but 65 is a big story-based one, which is good to see before 8.3 hits. So I do suggest doing that because you'll understand one of the bosses then.
Okay, good. Because I'm doing a lot of the world quests. I'm kind of started going heavy on stuff in WoW, trying to get things here and there.
I'll be honest, just dedicate an hour. Just do Azeroth world quests. If the invasion's up, do that. That's all I suggest. Like, just go around, do your Azeroth world quests. That'll do you. A week of that, just a week of setting aside an hour to do it, you'll easily get a level a week.
Okay, so I better do it this week, not next week, because next week I probably won't get I don't know how much game time I'm getting next week, because I got to get a podcast out next week before I'm gone that weekend.
The life of a busy man.
Yes.
No,
and
sorry.
I mean, sometimes it seems like I'm running around kind of dunking things and brawl, and I did the Deep Wind brawl. So
really? Interesting.
That was fun.
How'd you find it?
I've done that one before, and I like it because you can ignore all the people in the raid being like,
Oh, you're all idiots. You should have gone left when you went right.
and stuff like that. But you can ignore them, and it's fun. Just like it's fun distracting the horde when they're trying to stop the ball, and the person with the ball just kind of goes around and dunk. It's there. So it reminds me of Capture the Flag.
Yeah.
But in a basketball sense. So I've been enjoying that.
I'll be honest, while we're talking about PvP, I haven't had a chance to check out the rejigged Winter Grasp and what's it called, Ashran yet. I really should try and find some time to do, because they changed a lot of how Ashran specifically, they changed how a lot of that worked in 8.2.5. So it'll be interesting to see how that is now, and if it's just the horde just stomping over everybody still. That'd be fun.
And this week would have been a good week to do it because you need the PvP brawl, you need the epic battleground, and you need an island to get the special thing. So I didn't do the island or the epic battleground because I didn't realize that until halfway through the week.
That's just the intro to Blood of the Enemy as an essence. That's not just a weekly thing.
Oh, okay, good. So I can still work on that because I got that, and
Blood of
so
the Enemy?
I
One of the PvP essences. Sorry.
Because I'm right now, I'm at like on level 8, and I want to get that up there because there's some cool toys that you can get as well.
There's cool toys, there's cool titles, there's cool mounts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff. I believe it goes all the way up. I want to say it goes all the way up to at least 500.
That sounds right. Sadly, it doesn't go over 9,000.
No.
And then, like, after that, just working on Voldunai and Mechanome reps, trying to get those up.
Yep.
And I realized I also need Zandalari trolls as well as the honor bound. So I've got a bunch of things. Even if I don't roll a troll or Magar Orc right now, I want to at least unlock it to have it there on my bar.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's fun doing those. And I can get toys through it. I mean, and today finally got the Mechano Cat. That's one that
nice.
if I'd been more farming with it, I could have had it sooner. But I took my time with it.
You do what you got time for, really, don't you? You don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah.
It gives you content to do in the lull between 8.3 and the expansion, I guess, as well.
And I still I do think like going back to Half Hill to get the farm, because I heard that's a good moneymaker. Ian was telling me about that. And there's some ores you can get from the farm. And by Ian, I mean Habant Ian, not I-O-N.
Yeah.
I don't know Ian the Hazakostas. It'd be cool if I did, but I don't know Ian. But I do know a cool Ian. And then the one final thing because I'm working on honey, so still trying to get all that jelly. I like the jelly. But Squirrel Sage Nola, she told me twice that I'd make a great teacher. What do you think on that?
That you would make a great teacher.
Aww.
I mean, possibly. You've taught me some stuff today, which is a nice turnaround from how it usually is.
Yeah!
There we go.
I teach.
Yeah,
I'm a
you
teacher.
do. So, I haven't really done much, just focused on leveling and the like, as I said I was in the last one. As of today, I mean, when we're recording this, Hallow's End has been live for about 2-3 days, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So, just like when Brewfest was up, I've been queuing with my 5 alts daily to get the 26k rep. It's not too bad, because then you get slightly buffed with your heirlooms and bits and pieces. Started doing candy buckets.
Nice. Yes.
And I hit
all those
120 on my Draenei Mage today. So I'm 1 alt down with 4 to go.
I keep forgetting about those with these events, taking the alts through. I did that 1 year with the candy buckets, and I keep forgetting to do that again, because you're right, you can get a lot of rep.
You can get about 2 levels, two and a half levels. I want to say you can get from if you do all the candy buckets. Well, not even all, because I've missed like the odd 1 or 2, because there are some behind some facing issues.
Yeah,
so,
especially like in mists.
Not so much mists, more. It also depends if you want to go swimming in Vashir. That's another big thing as well.
Oh, who doesn't love swimming around tentacles?
Vashir is so badly spread out; it's pretty bad. But if you've
I'm
got
with
like
you.
the sea turtle, it's not too bad because you've got
I don't know
the
if
swim speed.
I do have the inflatable mount shoes.
Yeah, that allows you to run on water, but you can fly over it anyway. So, but you've still only got 3 minutes of breathing, so you've still got to swim fast. That's
yeah.
the thing about Vashir. It's fun. It's a little bit draining flying around. I'll rattle on about it, but where I've started the new job as well, it's just very, it's very trying finding time in the evening until everything's adjusted. So I've just been doing a little bit here and there over a couple of days. I got a day off tomorrow, so I might try and get another one up. But my goal was to try and get most of them 120 before reset this week with Burning Crusade time walking, because Time walking is pretty easy. Just queue up. You'll get you get a level per 2 runs. So even if I don't, I'll get them all to 120 next week, and then that will put me up to, oh my goodness, 15 level 120 ults once I get these last 4 done.
Oh, and it's cool side note about the Headless Horseman. Friend of the show, Kara, she got the Horseman's reins. I was in the game when she got it, so it was so cool to be like, "There's Kara, get in the reins, nice."
Yeah, it's a cool little mount. It really is. It's nice when stuff like that drops. I think we were having a big discussion in the Frazley Discord the other day, at least myself and Spaz was. I don't think Spaz, who you often stream with, knows how much of a mount collector I really was until we were linking the simple armory to each other.
Yeah, because Spaz is definitely a collector. He actually it's on hiatus right now, but he has the Reigns of Azeroth podcast, so they're talking about like mounts and pets and collectibles.
I mean, we talked about the collectible stuff a few episodes back. It's very good to get into it. Like stuff like All the Things is a very good add-on if you want to do that sort of thing. Very customizable and everything else. So if you do want to start looking at collecting everything in the game, that's currently available, I want to say. All the Things is definitely worth having. But yeah, I streamed some mount runs. Was very unfortunate with some. Didn't get much luck. I tell you what I did get between, I think, the last recording and this recording is I got another dupe of the Horridon mount drop. That's a kick in the teeth, that is, when that happens.
Yeah, it's like, use my RNG on this, nothing else.
I'd rather have had G-Kun, I'll be honest, so I could be done with Throne of Thunder until I wanted to go back there and farm some transmog sets, because I want the Heroic Thunder set on my Paladin, because there's a cool version of, I think it's the Shattered Ashbringer artifact look. There's a blue version, a blue variant that goes quite well with that. So, and there's loads of stuff. Throne of Thunder's got some cool transmogs.
Speaking of Throne of Thunder, I was watching you, and guess who got into the cutscene that told me he. But you weren't on the right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't on anything that could levitate down. So
okay,
I think I only streamed my monk and my demon hunter. So you must have missed my demon hunter do the skip. But the monk can't jump down safely. Well, it can, but you still take damage. It's just easier to just do the cutscene sometimes.
Isn't it a Pandaren? Can they just use the fat rolls?
My monk is Draenei.
Oh, okay, yeah, lean and all that. Because I mean, Pandaren, you just go down and like do the belly flop, and you're there.
It's mostly because I like the. Well, I mean, when Pandaria was out, I just had a thing for Draenei. To be fair, in my guild, we joke that they're sex tales because you're looking at all the thing that you're looking at a character from behind. So, you know. Gonna have a sexy tail.
Oh yeah, I mean, you always want the tail.
Chasing tail forever. But yeah, they're cool. She's got some good fist movements in terms of her animations, so she's pretty cool. It's annoying because you don't make those variants in races, and I'm like, I look at my character list outside of the stuff that's at 110 that I had through Legion, and I'm like, I don't have a gnome, but it's at 58. And I've got to get it. I mean, once I hit 6, well, I mean, I can start queuing up for TBC dungeons now, to be fair, at 58, but
yeah,
you know, I just want the heirloom armor. That'd be cool.
And our cool flight whistle.
I'm sorry?
Gnomes have a cool flight whistle.
Do they?
Yeah, it's a special one where instead of like having the thing take you away normally, you have a thing where you can call in the gnome air strike team and they can pick you up.
Is that actually a thing?
That's the thing. Yeah.
I did not even know that. That's amazing. That's really cool.
it makes it the coolest flight whistle ever, and I'm excited for when we go to the next expansion. We have the ultimate flight whistle. I mean, we're not like all you peasants with your regular flight whistle. We don't fly on economy. We fly first class Nomergon Air.
You make it sound like you're going to start bottling Nomergon Air and then start selling it.
Yes.
Frazley's side business.
Hey, I don't want to sell bathwater, so I'll sell Nomergon Air.
It's pretty cool. Like, speaking of heritage armors, I'm really interested in the Mechanome one, I'll be honest with you. Even if it airs on the lazy side and it makes you look like King Mechagon, I think it still looks pretty cool. I did look a lot into it, I think, after we had the discussion about it last week, and I do see what you mean about how their customization options are a bit on the lax side.
Yeah, like especially because gnomes are known for vibrant things. Pink hair, blue hair. I mean, it does not to me seem like a gnome. That's where I almost went for Mechanome for Frazley, but I was like, one thing I get to give up the blue hair, and I don't want that because I like what Boss Potatoes did with my Frazley.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that, do you ever see the movie Tusk and he becomes the walrus?
Yes, yeah.
There's a part of me that feels like once you take away that arm and make it a mechanical thing, you can never get it back. And I like my right arm.
I think it would be nice if anything that had an option to be mechanical, you had an option to customize it, so you could have like one human arm, one mechanized arm. Same with the legs as well.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's been done for simplistic sake, but we'll see. I mean, there's going to be a good couple of months between here and 8.3's release anyway, so a lot can change and they can add customization options and everything else.
And did you notice that the camera is messed up on the legs? The mechanisms are so short. When you're looking at the leg combinations on PTR, you can't even see what the leg combinations are because it's hidden by the name bar.
Right? Yes. No. I did hear about this. Yeah, because it's to go with the specialized Mechanome background as well, isn't it? So
yeah, it's like when in Skyrim, I modded Skyrim to add a gnome, but the gnome is so short in the character customization screen, you literally can't see what your character is. So my gnome is the ugliest thing. I love it to death, and Sugarfoot Capo, and so when I open up Skyrim, I love it to death, but it is the ugliest thing that only a mother could love.
Jesus, a bit like me.
I think you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you very much, Fraz. It's appreciated to the cockles of my deep black heart.
Hopefully soon we'll get to see you in brighter lights.
Soon, hopefully. We're getting some improvements to the camera stuff on my end soon. TM. I'm definitely
But for audio
TM.
listeners, and audio listeners can't see, well, yeah.
Audio listeners are saved from the horrors of looking at my face. It is true. Yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting week in terms of the news as well. There's been some 8.3 more. There's been a few more data mined bits and pieces. There's been a lot of people testing the invasions and getting different thoughts and everything else. There's been a couple of portal stuff and everything else.
And like a lot of it's like spoilerly PTR stuff. I mean, because
it's very heavy on the spoilery. And then there's been some background stuff to Warcraft 3 Reforged as well. The only thing I want to say about that is I think Belialar put it right. Warcraft 3 is very low poly in the way it's done, and it's done on purpose. And obviously World of Warcraft follows that suit for being the low poly stuff, and they've made a very good job of what they had with that engine to begin with. But the buildings look very good, but the models just look so realistic, like in comparison. And you can obviously tell that Remastered has been a third party, like, because it's not done Blizzard in devs. A lot of the artwork and everything else is done by a third-party dev for Reforged.
Okay, because I was about to say that it would be interesting to see if people have been asking for a new engine. And we'll put aside the other stuff, but the reason why World of Warcraft's engine was the way it was is because of part of World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft like trying to be on the stuff, but computers have gotten a lot better now.
So
it would be.
So the original World of Warcraft is using a modified version of Warcraft 3's engine. I believe they first updated that engine when we got to Cataclysm, and that was part of the big world revamp. That's why it took a long time on a server restart for that one, because I think they were shifting over to a new engine. I think they've just done some engine modifications, but a lot of people want a more realistic looking game. I think it loses its charm when you do that, because I think a big part of that is, and you can see it with the way they do the cinematics these days, is the fact of how they can make the characters look if they want.
Yeah, well, and like Blizzard Watch has talked about this before on their podcast, and the one thing that I liked was they said you don't realize all the lighting that they're doing with this engine. That they're being they're using all that they have, but they make very intentional choices. If you wonder why lighting a certain way in some area, they're trying to get your mind to move with it. And like there's some very smart designers at Blizzard doing things that a lot of games should be doing, and only Blizzard games tend to be doing.
I think if we moved too realistically in terms of how World of Warcraft was going to look, and it's a good conversational piece to have, essentially, then you get closer to it looking like the Warcraft movie. I think is the best comparison. I think the best way you can tell that is if you look at all of the Sourfang, like the pre-rendered cinematics that we've had, especially in the confrontation in front of Orgrimmar with Sylvanas. You can see that it almost looks like Sourfang's rig is similar to Duratan's from the movie, like in the way his facial animations look and how bulky in the face he looks as an orc.
Yeah, I thought it looked really close to the movie, and I was impressed at how far they've gone with the animations.
I mean, my only complaint about the cinematics in this entire expansion is how they've made Sylvanas look, I'll be honest, because in all media and her in-game model is more blue, but if you look at all the pre-rendered cinematics of Sylvanas in this expansion, because even if you go back to Legion, she's got a blue hue to her. In this expansion, she's pink. Like she's got the pink alive skin.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's the only thing that throws me off every time I see any of the pre-rendered. Don't get me wrong, they're still gorgeous cinematics, but it's very disconcerting, maybe jarring when you go from the pre-rendered cinematic and then you go into the in-game stuff. And a good example is if you were a Sylvanas loyalist and then you go to Silvermoon Refuge up in the Ghostlands and she's in her in-game model as blue skin. Maybe they'll update her model going forward and they'll bring everything in line with that. But it's very odd how they've made that design decision.
Yeah, it makes you realize that she's a NPC character versus a person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole idea is that she's dead, but she's not rotting to the length of the Forsaken. She died, and she got her body back. So that's the story of Sylvanas. She died. Her revenge was to get Lordaeron, and then she worked to get her body back, and that's how she has that body. And the whole idea, I presume the whole idea why she was blue-skinned is because she was dead. There's no blood running through that system, essentially. So that's why she's not. And then all of a sudden in BFA, she's pink-skinned. Like if you want to check for yourself, go watch the Legion cinematic, and then go watch the BFA cinematic, and you'll see the differences. Because I believe the Legion cinematic is the first pre-rendered Sylvanas cinematic we've had. or pre-rendered cinematic with Sylvanas, I should say. It's interesting. I'm sure Frazley is YouTubing it right now as we natter. It's a good point. I'm looking forward to what they do. So far, with everything that's in the 8.3 PTR, everybody is pulling at strings, being so close to BlizzCon, and I'm quite sure that's why they're trying to tease out some information, and why a lot of the stuff is, what's the word I'm looking for? Coded, hidden, until post BlizzCon, because I fully imagine at this point there's going to be an 8.3 dump at BlizzCon. Like there'll be a what's next, and then there'll be a whole separate panel on the expansion.
Oh yeah, because you don't want it to. And I was actually YouTubing at the same time, and I see what you mean. I looked at the Legion cinematic, and it's more blue, and I think it's either how they're lighting her character in the cinematic. But yeah, when you go to the full cinematic, she is a lot more.
She's a lot more pink.
Yeah. And it's.
But then go and have a look at either the Sylvanas Loyalist cutscene, or have a look at. I think the best way to do it would be, you know, the 8.1.5 War campaign where they arrest Bane.
Yes.
Yeah, go have a look at that cutscene. You see a lot of her there. She's very, very blue. Very blue.
Well, I mean, and maybe she was happy in the cinematic, and then she got blue.
Yes, that's exactly it. She's blue. Dabba dee, dabba da.
Dabba da. Dabba dee da. And like, she's been forsaken by the Horde. But yeah, no, I'm looking at the loyalist one. I can see that. Oh, yeah. Like Capo said that she's been getting some from the Thanatos and BFA. She's glowing.
I don't really need to know about Caponis's fan fiction that he writes and reads.
At least.
It's fun. There's a lot of stuff going on. We are in a big lull. There's a lot of information, especially coming from the raid about what's going on. More data mine text and everything else. The boss list looks very interesting for Nyalotha. Like, there's a nice variety of stuff that's in there. It feels like it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Uldum, but spread across, because Uldum was very varied in what it gave to us in bosses. So it feels like a very varied boss structure. There's apparently, I believe, it's going to have the most bosses in the dungeon since Legion's Hellfire Citadel, and I believe a raid skip mechanic was in, which means that there's going to be a mount that drops from the mythic version of that boss, and the skip mechanic is going to be useful for later on down the line. There's stuff that's I'm going to have to come back and farm in a couple of expansions time.
Yeah, I do like that with the Nyalotha that you can choose to use. Oh no! Did you hear about the mythic affixes that you can choose to use a portal to go to a shadow version of whatever dungeon you're in?
That's in the Mythic Plus dungeons. That's the new affix for Mythic Plus for season 3, I believe.
And they were saying that when you skip stuff, be very careful, because at the end, those bosses you skipped will come looking for you.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, because I imagine they'll be very similar to... I'm not sure how much Mythic Plus you do. I don't think you do any, do you?
No, I've not done it since Legion.
Right, okay. So the way that the current Mythic Plus mechanic works with the emissaries is that on each given week, there's a higher spawn rate. I want to say spawn rate. There's a higher fixed rate of one type of the four different emissaries, and they're all pre-locationed every week. And so on one week you could be fighting more void emissaries, on another week you could be fighting more enchanted emissaries. But regardless of how many times you go into a specific dungeon, they'll be in the same place for that week, and then they'll move to a different week, and there'll be a higher allotment rate of another type of emissary. So I imagine the portals on a given weekly basis will be in the same places, any of those bosses will be in the same places for that week, and then those portal entries and exits will be in, like, they'll change on a week-to-week basis, and the boss locations will change. Is how I imagine they'll be. Here's the thing. When it come to reaping felt like a fun mechanic because it was essentially a big bunch of ads that you could just stun lock and nuke into the floor before they did anything. The emissaries are not as intimidating as we were first led to believe. I don't think these bosses will be as intimidating as we led to believe. The minute we work out where things will be exactly and like what the bosses we get is going to be, it's going to be interesting. I'll say that at the least. Until I see more of what's there and like how it works, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun for what it is, but it'll wear thin. Just like running the same dungeons every week, just wears thin.
Yeah.
Like, we're still waiting for Mythic Plus versions of the Mechagon instance, which I assume will come in 8.3. And they'll split it to lower and higher, which one will be a boss way, which one will be harder on a boss week, which will be Mechagon City, and then Outer Mechagon will be hell on Trash week.
And people who hate gnomes, it'll be hell any week.
That's it. Oh. And to let you know, Fraz, your chest doesn't expire. You do keep it until you open it.
Okay, good,
But
good.
I would open it before reset anyway, because you'll get Azerite if you then. Yeah, you get Azerite. All the extra Azerite is good. Yeah, I don't know. Mythic Plus is looking. I still need to get plus 15s to get the last rank 4 essence. We've still got to see what new essences are coming. That's something that's not been revealed to us. It feels like there's going to be a lot to do in 8.3, just thinking about it.
Yeah. And I do like that it'll let you solo things. I'm looking forward to being able to solo or have it scale to a group. So, like, if I just need a little bit of time to go in and do stuff, because it's good when WoW has some of that repeatable stuff. And Ali went in and said it was kind of fun. You go in a little bit, then you go out. They were on PTR.
Yeah.
They said that it'll be a fun thing to do to get you progression going all the way.
So the way I understand it is it's going to be very similar to how the Adventures of Chromie was, where like when you first go in, you can only get so far, and then you got to learn how you get all the way around it to progress and get everything done and complete it in the end, and get your transmog and the time walking bonuses, rewards for it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You can try multiple times per week. You just need to buy the potions. So like you might choose that you want to do one solo, but then your friends come on before raid time or after raid time and they haven't done it yet, and you can go in with them. That I like, being able to do it multiple times a week, as long as it all resets down to a bog standard one on the beginning of a reset rather than just a grade one. But it's all going to depend on how much time you're willing to put into the minor invasions before you do the horrific visions, because that's where you're going to need to get that currency to get those potions.
Yeah. And I already have nightmares. Oh, I keep seeing the word Eli on a window.
Speaking of nightmarish visions, you've still got your tentacle hat, haven't you?
Yes, and you were saying that you found the gift that I will be getting.
Yes, so there's been a revealed item for everyone who's kept the hat. You're basically going to get a toy, which is going to give you essentially this expansion Sensor of Eternal Agony, which will make you hostile to all players, both Horde and Alliance, and you'll basically be buddies with N'Zoth. No one knows if there's any specific rewards for it, but it's a toy that can go in your toy box, and then you'll be able to use it on all other characters. So, I do suggest if you've got a 120 ult to go get your tentacle hat and just keep it on there. just leave them dusted on the side until the thing comes round, and then go get your sparkly tentacle hat.
You know that, and I did not know that was a toy. That could be a lot of fun. Just like imagine right, being able to put it on. I wonder if you can like be in war mode and you're fighting. All of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna also kill the Alliance. I mean that actually adds some cool different things.
So it's meant to be used in war mode. I think it can only be used in war mode, in fact. So, yeah. If Mechagon's still a thing, if people are still farming in Mechagon, you could just go drop the toy on in there. Go, if the invasions are still happening, go use the toy in there if you're good enough to keep yourself alive.
So basically with this, they've created World of Warcraft Battle Royale.
Maybe. Yet to see that yet. But yeah,
it does sound cool though. I like that they're giving something to people that have kept that hat.
Yeah, I mean it's good that they're rewarding people. There's been a lot of that for rewarding player choice. Unfortunately, there's been rewarding players alt habits yet, which is what Blizzard needs to learn to do. Ugh. But yeah, I imagine there'll probably be some reward. Regardless, for farming whatever.
Yeah. If not, then at least Father N'Zoth will be happy with this.
Exactly. But again, we'll see what happens. Time will tell. We are, I want to say, 2 weeks away from BlizzCon weekend.
Oh, absolutely, because this time in 2 weeks I will be flying back. So we were talking about like what we would do with Stories of Azeroth, and I said I don't think I would want to be on an airplane because it'd be like, hey, we're on Stories of Azeroth, and like the people on the airline,
Shut up! I'm trying to sleep.
so yeah, I think we decided that.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to find out what we agreed on. Yeah.
We are the Tuesday after BlizzCon we'll be recording, and then next weekend we're recording the Saturday before.
Yes, I'm just trying to find dates and times, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, yes. 26th at...
26th at normal time, I believe it is.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you want to join us live for the next live recording of Stories Around Azeroth, you can join us on the 26th of October at the normal time, which is half past midnight in the UK, 1:30 a.m. in the EU. Mr. Frazley can give me the US times.
Yes, that is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that'll be changing soon because we're gonna lose an hour soon.
Yep. And then on the post BlizzCon show, which I might try to get some guests for as well to join us, that will be on the 5th of November, if I'm correct, at normal time. Maybe a bit earlier, depending on guests. We'll work that out close to the time. We'll have some more solid for you as well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. I don't know. Anything else that you want to chat about today, Mr. Frazley?
I think that's a lot of it because I think we're kind of waiting. Even like the Frazley report, I didn't really report on a lot of stuff. I didn't report this past week because there's nothing that I want to talk about news-wise because
you've got to make. I think with the current information that's available, you've got to be very careful about what you choose to and not talk about.
Yes.
Especially with this, like, people might not want to listen because there may be 8.3 spoilers that they're trying to avoid, which is a very big concern. Which there's a large part of why I tried to stay away from the data mine broadcast text, and it's easier to talk about speculation than it is about what's actually there. Because with speculation, you can make up whatever you want, and then if you're right, great.
Like, Numbergon will become a city again. There we go.
Every time I give you the opportunity, and you come back with Numbergon.
Yep, I was right with Mechanome last year, so I feel Numbergon will be said at least once during the BlizzCon panels.
Oh, is that your bet? Is it Numbergon will be mentioned at least once?
And that's including opening ceremony, what's next, and I'm even going to include the art and technical animations panels and the voice. So any panel at BlizzCon, Numbergon at least once.
Any Warcraft panel, as long as Numbergon is mentioned once.
I'll even say Overwatch voice actors.
I will. Why Overwatch?
You never know. Maybe one of them, maybe Hammond's actor loves gnomes, and maybe he's like, "Hey,
Is that going to be the next Overwatch map? The extension of Blizzard World into its own little subterranean mecha Nomagon.
you know what it is? You know how Disney has their underground thing at Magic Kingdom?
No.
Nobragon.
No, I don't.
Oh, under Magic Kingdom, there is this underground. It's the utilidors, and they have these places so you can go between all the different parts of Magic Kingdom without people seeing it. Because Walt Disney was at Disneyland.
It's like Beverly Hills Cop 3 then.
Kind of, yeah. Because like at Disneyland, Walt did not like seeing an astronaut walking through Frontierland to head to Tomorrowland. So he said, okay, we're going to build Magic Kingdom on a second story, and underneath, the cast members can go up and from here to here. The only downside about utilidors is you see Mickey Mouse headless.
Coming soon, Stories Around Disney World. Thank you very much for watching and listening. It's been a very casual show today, guys. It's been a bit more laid back, and it's been a little bit more fun to do rather than just reporting on stuff that is on a screen. It's nice to just happily just talk about stuff.
Yes.
It's amazing how the time has flied, really. I'll be honest. It's a bit of a shorter one than we're used to, but as said, it's sometimes it's just nicer to do things like that. So
it's like Snickers. It's the fun size version. You know,
this is the fun size version of Stories Around Azeroth. There you go.
Yes.
There we go. Right, Mr. Frazley, around the internet, where can people find you?
You can find me at Frazley.com, Frazley, on Twitter at Frazleytastic, and on Twitch at Gnome.live.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Mr. Frazley's website. He's got a lot of interesting guests coming up for Frazzlecast.
Yes, tonight. In fact, after the show, I have Pat and Fist. I'm literally shaking. I've had both of them on the show before, but not the dynamic duo together. So I'm just yeah.
Excitable gnome, everybody. So those of you that are joining us live, try to catch Mr. Frazley's stream in a couple of hours. For those of you listening to the VOD recordings and everything else, what show number is going to be on your podcast?
That'll be 1:30. So that will be released a week from tomorrow. So
the 29th.
Yes.
It'll be on the 29th. So there you go. But he does have other guests.
Or 28th.
28th. There you go. Sorry, it's the 21st where I am, Frazley. Leave me alone.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, he does have wonderful guests on week to week. It's a brilliant show to listen to.
Thank you.
Mr. Frazley is always as upbeat there as he is here, and as has been discussed around the internet of recent times, he is a paragon within the podcasting and the Blizzard community, and he's such a wonder to behold. Please listen to the great works of this man and go watch his streams.
Wow, thank you. I'm speechless.
Well, not really, because you just said something. In terms of where you can find me around the internet, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can find me on my personal Twitter at Titans Creed. You can find my gaming one if you just want to know about streams and information that we put out at Gaming Phoenix. You can find shows like Stories Around Azeroth live over on twitch.tv/Project Phoenix Productions, and you can find me streaming other bits and pieces 5 to 7 days a week. You can find the video cast of this as video form over on youtube.com/Project Phoenix Productions, or you can catch it live on all, not live, you can catch it on all good podcast catchers as well at the same time. Thank you very much for watching if you've been here live or watching the video cast later, and thank you very much for listening if you've just had us on in the background or listening on your podcast catchers, doing whatever you do. Be sure to join us next week for another episode of Stories Around Azeroth, as hopefully we talk about more things that we've been doing, and then especially in the lead up to BlizzCon. I have a feeling next week will probably be very much BlizzCon speculation, what we want to see, what we want to hear, and then the week after we'll be disappointed by all the things that we didn't speculate on hearing or seeing. So
yeah, phooey, I should have saw that, or phooey, they didn't do the Battle Pass game again.
That's it. I imagine the post-BlizzCon show will also be talking to Mr. Frazley about how being at an actual live BlizzCon feels like, because he's going to be there as well. So if you are also going to BlizzCon, go say hello to the man. Get a picture taken with him.
Yes, on Friday I'll be wearing my Frazlecast shirt, so just look for the giant Frazley and Frazlecast.
Look for the Frazley on the Frazley. But
yes.
That is us. That is it for us for today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As Mr. Frazley always likes to say,
be awesome. And it's with only one E, because I don't have the honey pet yet.
Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we'll see you then.